I love people. I love brown people.
This is why I don't fuck with Matty Healy. Sometimes it's okay not to like people, just for no reason. It's okay to start beef. It's okay to thrive off of hate and negativity. And to exist to sponge off of other people's joy. For example, I don't like Ash Nico. I think everything that she's done, Rico Nasty has already done 10 million times better with 10% of the coverage. However, I don't think that Ash Nico as a person is, wait for it, problematic. I'm sure she's definitely a kind, talented, hardworking person. I just don't like her because I'm a hater. Matty Healy, on the other hand,
I'm not racist. I'm not a bigot. I'm a bit of a dickhead maybe, but it isn't like I'm not an is.
Yes, I don't like him for petty reasons, like how he looks like one of the rats from Flushed Away, but he's had a history of making controversial comments.
I come from kind of like punk music and hardcore music where the idea was we're going to change the world politically, socially, sexually, whatever. Comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. That's kind of my job.
I want to make it clear that these things do not matter to me when it comes to hating on Matty Healy. I would do that regardless. The flame of hatred would burn inside me for millennia without extinguishing if it just meant that I could someday have the chance to continue slandering Matty Healy.
And I never get a day. I never get a day where I'm allowed to be offended. Where are my rights?
However, you, emotional labour viewers, may wish to equip yourself with the following intel ordered loosely by severity. So he thinks he's Jesus, which is not new for a rock and roll star, but when he said there is an element of feeling a bit like the Messiah, well, not somebody who's here to save humanity, but somebody for whom the world does truly revolve around them. Which is cringe, whichever way you look at it. He said it was rare for a left-leaning act like the 1975 to be given a Brit Award when there's so many artists who are far more left-wing and make differences to people's material conditions that come to mind who have won a Brit Award, but whatever. And he's just one of these white guys who likes to make sweeping statements about the state of music, like, no one gives a fuck about the music, they don't care about it being purposefully informative like I do. Like, bro made one song with Greta Too Trappy on the track, and now he thinks he's the second coming of Jesus. Literally, he also ate raw meat on stage, which is a health code violation. Any man who does not respect the rule of the Health and Standards Authority will feel my blade. He loves brown people.
I love people. I love brown people. I don't care about people's colour. I just don't know when I'm allowed to be offended.
We don't want your love. Go away. He's a Nepo baby. His parents are both famous actors, and in his GQ What's in My Bag interview, he talks about how much he likes cheap things before pulling out a case of £250 AirPods. Terry Pratchett once wrote, a man who can afford $50 had a pair of boots that'd still be keeping his feet dry in 10 years' time, while the poor man who could only afford cheap boots would have spent $100 on boots in the same time and would still have wet feet. The only AirPods that I can like regularly afford are these $8.99 ones from Amazon, and they're shit. Maybe I'm just broke, but that's expensive to me. £250 is expensive. I'm so broke. htmljones, how are you broke? Leave me alone. Matty Healy also hates his fans. He once said, the problem with Gen Z is that they've set up this moral standard that they can't even live up to, which is like, you're not that old, like, you're not quite a boomer. And he also responded to a photographer politely asking for credit with a multi-paragraph bitchy passive-aggressive rant that would put Lucille Bluth to shame. His band cut him off on stage because he was about to have a heated gamer moment. Matty is known for kissing fans and sucking on their thumbs, consensually of course, and with adults as far as we know. Like, he checks their IDs when he does it. Maybe just don't do it. The process that's just going to slow down the show. Just don't make out with these random people. Not to slut shame you, I guess. And I think this is a weird thing to do with your power dynamic anyway, to an extent, even if your audience isn't 12-year-old girls, which it is, and he knows. This is a guy who thrusts on stage, touches himself, does push-ups on stage. Not exactly Gigi Allen shit, but he recently said, I have 450,000 young women on my Twitter, and I genuinely believe the empowerment of young women is the most important thing in the world and will lead to the destruction of injustice. So what do I do with that? I try to guide them. Like, shut the fuck up! He called the Irish a simple people. He used the death of George Floyd to promote his music. He then deactivated Twitter like a pussy, saying that he didn't want to be a pawn in the culture war anymore, continuing a tradition of celebrities getting criticised by some of their fans online and immediately developing a persecution complex. Wow, I'm just like Jesus, for real. He recently performed a Nazi salute and march on stage whilst chanting, "Thank you, Kanye, very cool." I think it would be very charitable to consider this as bad satire. Matty Healy once said that he thought that a female interviewer was a little bit too big to be wearing the clothes that she was, and he has a history of being Islamophobic.
And I'm bored of certain religions as well because certain races are more aligned with them, thinking that you can't criticize them. You can't criticize Islam as a set of ideas. You can't criticize these kind of things because you're inherently criticizing people. Islamophobia does exist. People are bigoted, but what that really is thick, scared people not liking brown people.
associating all Muslims with ISIS, patronizing a young Muslim woman who criticized him about it.
I just kissed a guy in Dubai. Who gives a what I did in Dubai?
He kissed a man in Dubai to make a point about how Dubai has homophobic laws penalizing gay people and suffered no consequences for it because he's white, which I think kind of defeats the purpose of the activism a little bit. It just feels like gloating. White gay men love talking about how they're illegal in 10 million different countries, but the people who actually suffer are the black and brown people in these countries, in the global south, in these areas, some of which were far more accepting of homosexuality a few centuries ago, before the European colonizers came and imposed totalitarian military theocratic rule in their countries. I don't think that he's changing anyone's minds or raising awareness in a meaningful way. Like, they know gay people exist. Like, they have the internet, you know? I think it's just stroking his ego. He's just leveraging his privilege and being like, look, which to me feels like rubbing salt in the wound. He's hated on various religious groups, religion as a whole.
If you're like piously religious, if you're like dogmatically faithful, you should be kind of ashamed of yourself.
And claims that he's never allowed to be offended.
Religious people are always allowed to be offended. Oh, we're offended by this, I'm offended by that. I have to get up every day and read something abhorrent that's happened in the name of religion.
And that his rights as an atheist are being oppressed.
Where are my rights as an atheist? When am I allowed to be like completely affronted by something?
In the fucking UK, which is by some measures one of the most atheist countries in Europe.
I want people to really look at themselves, you know, like the internet and all these kind of things and all these profiles that we create for ourselves and all these kind of things are the perfect opportunity to look at ourselves, but all we really do is like look at other people.
He said the N-word on Instagram Live multiple times, and most recently he made some unfunny racist jokes about the Holocaust and Asian people on the Adam Friedland show, who is a comedian who is known for his unfunny racist jokes about the Holocaust and Asian people. That's like his bit, that's his main appeal. And everyone who watches him looks and thinks like Vorsh.
I think that when people truly understand that we're all gonna die, like truly, like accept that that is the end game. Tiny bit of this, every sexist remark, every moment of love, every person that every Napoleonic whatever he used to do, anything of greatness from humans didn't really mean anything.
So that's about it. I've covered everything with a bit of a paper trail, but I'm sure there's others. And I actually like the 1975's music. Yes, I'm a fan. That's the worst fucking part. Like, I just hate Matty Healy so much. I just hate him. I'm overcome by hate. So this list is valid as of the 12th February 2023. So I expect it to expire in like a couple of hours. Spread negativity, thrive off of wrath and pride. And I'll see you next time for an emotional labor where I'll be interviewing someone in Tokyo, Japan.